The air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters, hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future, strong, united, working till we fall. The air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming, feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters, hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future, strong, united, working till we fall. And we're all lift, and we're all adrift together, together.
So, welcome back to another episode of Shadows of Titan.
Thanks for getting our stuff flagged.
Yay! I mean, to be fair, really, how is that any different from when I'm playing a bunch of other stuff from, you know, media label writers, whatever the hell they're officially called, I forget.
Record companies?
Thank you! Fucking basic goddamn English.
Words.
Words are hard.
Yes, they are hard.
Anywho, so when we left off last time, Effects kind of almost one-shot the encounter by virtue of getting over being poisoned to hell and back, and then dropping the Magmadon card with a fear effect.
Yep.
So that was a thing. And after it ran away... And after it ran away through the portal, you know, shortly afterwards, emergency services showed up and were like, hey, we have a bunch of injured people from when a rocket hit the fucking building. And yeah, so we had, let's see. So Lita and Jameson went to the hospital. Jameson's injury being relatively mild, other than the fact that it was a gunshot wound to the leg. But he's fairly easy to patch up, and they're just like, okay, yep, we've got you. I guess they would stitch it? Would make sense. Oh. I'm not that familiar with friggin' what to do when somebody is shot in the leg. I'm not a paramedic, a doctor, surgeon.
Bullet fragments and so on, I guess.
But anyway, so the gist of it boils down to really, Lita was put in intensive care for a little while because she got kind of fucked up. Jameson's also there, who, I know Bindweed went to the hospital with them. Who else went?
So since I wasn't actually here, what was that said what I did?
I don't remember. I think we were gonna...
Dallin only did the mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay. So Frida would have gone as well.
Okay. Alright. So, I guess, are there any particular conversations that you guys want to have with, as far as the hospital-bound party?
Lita's kind of unconscious.
It's true.
I don't think so.
Digger's like,
Okay.
this is what bullet holes feel like? God damn it, this is what bullet holes feel like. This hurts.
True, as a superhero, he was functionally bulletproof.
Thanks for that field, yes. Functionally bulletproof.
Details.
I guess just none of the Nazis from this life really ever got a good shot off.
Apparently not.
Nazis are terrible shots.
Why they gotta be Nazis?
They never
Anyway.
survive the third try.
Anyway, so where was everybody else going? Just their respective homes, or were they all going to go meet up at base, which is Mari's house? Or-
As far as I'm aware, Kirsten was the only one that actually went home.
Okay. So everybody else then went to Mari's house.
Mari went home.
Sounds right.
Okay. So is there any unpacking from all this that you guys want to do at Mari's house, or we're just going to move on to the next day where Digger's going to get released from observation and Lita as well, because whilst she was in fact knocked unconscious, most of her wounds were just superficial.
Well, we're certainly going to need to talk about the fact that things are happening out of order.
Is she still breaking up for everybody?
A little bit.
Well, I've been breaking up with everyone, like the call has, so I think I might need to restart my Discord.
Okay. Okay, so we go ahead and restart your thing, and what we're going to do is we'll start the scene as far as the next day. Everybody getting over to, I guess, does everybody want to meet up in Mari's place, or are they going to like go out for breakfast, kind of a thing?
Last time we decided to go and unpack at a restaurant, we ran into Serena.
Are you saying this is something you want to do or not do?
But nope. Make this shit in character. This is where the conversation just started. Mari's sitting there in a phone call with Digger on speaker and Lita in the background, and she says, "Well, the last time we went and had a powwow at a restaurant, we met Serena." Go.
Is this a thing that you want to do or not do? You sound unsure.
I was just throwing the fact out there. I don't know.
There's a long and pregnant pause on the phone.
She's looking around.
It is
Anybody
poignant.
else who might be there?
What's a Serena?
It's a woman. She used to be Howard.
Cricket. Cricket.
I'm not leading this. I'm on a telephone.
I don't know. It's not. What is it? My choice. I mean, we could go to a restaurant. We could seem like we're crazy people and talking about an alternate history, but really, who's gonna pay attention? Ultimately, do you guys want to meet here in private or in public?
Let's go to the restaurant. I think we could all use a break. A little, little celebration or something. Plus, if Serena does show up, we at least know that she still exists in this particular incarnation of the universe.
Quick, what's Kirsten's favorite restaurant that does breakfast?
Cafe on Park. I don't know.
Toads should have answered IHOP.
Wait,
IHOP
what?
History. IHOP has history.
One of the few universes across
And I didn't say IHOP, I said IHub,
Oh,
making fun of them in their new campaigning thing. Anyway, I guess it wasn't as funny as I thought. Moving on.
I didn't know that they were doing a new advertising anything.
Yeah, they're trying to do burgers.
Oh,
Pancakes just aren't profitable anymore.
whoops.
You're wrong.
One sec, moving you guys back to the title card. That's the wrong one.
Yeah, you just gotta twist that knife again, don't you? Don't you?
Don't know what you're talking about. Cassie's sending me things. I'm scared.
I would be too.
Anywho. Alright. So, one by one, everybody kind of pulls into IHOP and iHub, fucking
They announced
whatever.
that was a hoax. It was a
Oh.
publicity stunt.
Whatever. So they end up. Well, you know what? This is all alternate universes. You show up at iHub, where it wasn't just a publicity stunt.
In fact, they've just recently introduced pancakes.
Yeah.
Jameson arrives, gets out of his car, is making a big show of walking with the crutch. Even though he doesn't have to, apparently, because they cleared him to drive.
So, on a scale of a twisted ankle to Charles Xavier, where is he with this cane crutch thing? Oh, actually, that's the question. Is he rocking a cane or is it a crutch?
It's a crutch.
Okay. Okay. So there you go. We'll we'll say just for the hell of it, that even Lita got there first. She's got like bandages and stuff, like, you know, a little bit of gauze to the side of her head and everything, and whatever. And she's already
how weird are we looking?
Huh?
How weird do we look to all the other people? Are we getting stares? Are we garnering attention?
Yes. I mean, not like jeers and stuff, but it more more one of those things that just like every single one of them has a companion, and there's one more companion there than there are people. Is there a convention? And then, like, you know, a mom turns to like her little girl or whatever who has a companion power. She's like, "Did you hear anything about that in school, sweetie?" And the little girl just sitting there with her, you know, friggin' Belgian waffle, just like whipped cream all over her face and all over her companion. She's just shaking her head very slowly, like, mm-mm. Anyway, so in walks Digger. Everybody else is already at the table. He's gimping on his crutch pretty hard. Or Jameson's on his crutch, and Digger is impersonating him. Digger went out and found a stick and is using that to try and hobble his way in, and he just keeps like looking forward, and then he looks up at Jameson like, "I'm doing this right? Yeah? Okay." And then he goes back, he goes from like looking at Jameson with wide eyes and like almost a smile, like, "We're doing this thing. It's great." And then when he looks forward again, just sullen and pained.
Jameson continues forward. He's really expect this of himself.
Momo will let Digger wildly. He's just doing such a great job.
What was that?
Momo will applaud Digger wildly. He's just doing such a great job with that. Top those little stuff together as hard as he can.
I wonder if Discord's getting DDoS tonight.
I don't know.
It might be.
Something. It's the audio for me really didn't improve by restarting.
Yeah, because Annie's scratchy, Gladys is scratchy, Cassie's still scratchy.
Yeah,
How do I sound?
You're fine.
Fine so far.
You're like radio show quality.
Am I good? Because normally I suck at this right now.
Yeah, you're doing fine. And I just don't care.
Of course not.
You and Slayer kind of both sound like you're talking through tinfoil.
Anyway, digressing though. So what is it you were saying that Momo did to Digger?
Momo is applauding Digger's performance.
Oh, gotcha.
And Harrison will stand up and go to try to help Jameson walk. He's here.
He doesn't really need help. It's kind of obvious he probably doesn't need help. But he's
helping it. He said he's helping. Let the man help. Son of Jameis.
No one calls him that. Supposed to be son of James.
Not the point. I mean, we could
help anyway. Nice guy.
Anyway, so go ahead.
You know you don't have to help, right? I'm okay. I got this.
Well, you're hurt and you need the help, or you're begging for attention, and I'm willing to give that too.
We're gonna go with neither. Neither.
Why are you limiting?
I don't know. It's my first leg injury. Feels appropriate? I don't know.
All right. Enjoy the positive life of so many others, and doesn't sit back down. But I'm still applauding wildly. She tries to whistle, but her stubs won't reach.
Now that's comedy.
They're all big folks.
Why is it Tumblr specifically?
Because that's where these things happen.
I can Tumblr will check anything.
So yes, Digger's in the thingy. Or just pancakes.
Person orders toast.
Waits. Pauses briefly, looks over at the waitress. If I asked for 2 pancakes and then a burger the size of a pancake and then 2 more pancakes, what would you say?
The guy's looking at you and he just goes,
Like a burger sandwiched between 2 pancakes.
oh.
You mean sandwich between 4 pancakes?
4 pancakes, right. Thank you, Mari.
Oh my god, Jameson, are you really gonna eat that?
No, I just wanted to see all your guys' faces.
Actually, that's pretty tame, so you know.
Someone elaborate for her the what was it called? The taco.
Pretty normal thing to me, actually.
No, it was a taco wrapped in a pizza, wrapped in a thingy, wrapped in a thingy, wrapped in a thingy. I can't remember everything was inside it. Someone elaborate.
Ends up in it.
Yeah, it was the Taco Time Taco.
That's it. The Taco Time Taco. I ate one of those.
So the waiter's just standing there and he just goes, I mean, I don't know how we would ring that up, but
No,
guess.
just get me a short stack of pancakes. It's fine.
At which point the guy just kind of rolls his eyes and goes back to taking everybody else's orders, or anybody that hadn't ordered yet.
Waffles.
Okay, an important philosophical question: whose character here gets waffles and whose gets pancakes?
Waffle. Definitely going with waffle.
Kirsten gets neither.
Sorry. Actually, I want German pancake.
Even
Will
better.
determine the answer you get, so be careful.
Wait, who's getting the pancake? Mari or Lita? It's very important.
I want you guys to understand the look on her face after you asked that. She's like, "Shit, this is a conundrum."
I want to say both, but no. Lita's probably going to have like crepes or something.
So fancy.
She is. But if they're filled with like yummy cream stuff. Yeah. My brain hurts right now. Shut up. Don't judge me. I was working all day.
So, what is the chef doing to these pastries?
There's just Digger sitting down there over there. Or not Digger. There's just Jameson sitting across the table with his crutch, wiggling his eyebrows with everything she says.
Anyway, This is Cassie talking, not Lita.
Oh, here we go.
Crepes and cream cheese and
And Mari's getting the German pancake.
And Digger looks over at Chloe. Are you also getting your waffle cream filled?
No.
Well, why not? It's delicious.
A, I didn't know they did that, and 2, I don't want to.
It's baked goods. They can do everything.
Well, B still stands. I had no idea my stance on waffles was so controversial, because it's just awesome.
Here we go. Chloe continuing to be the foil for the rest of the party.
Oh my. Alright. Maybe this was a mistake. I know we're all tired. Maybe we should have just gone to sleep first.
I have been laying in a hospital bed for the past... Checks his watch.
16 hours.
16 hours.
I
I have
suppose
had-
that's fair.
I have had
Some
plenty
of
of
us
time to
didn't
sleep.
go to sleep.
Why not?
Because some of us were up worrying about those of us who were in the hospital. Some of us may just be me, I don't know.
So... How about that giant snake? That wasn't supposed to be there.
And on cue, in walks Archmage. Well, in floats Mage. And then floats over and lands on Frida's head.
She frowns up at him. Where's your German accent? Yeah. There's your
Goddamn right.
useless. Yeah. There's your useless owner.
Oh my.
At which point he walks up behind Frida and he says, still probably going to be in charge of one of your classes.
We'll see.
It's nice of you to join us.
Well, Pierce sent me a message saying that you guys were making some significant headway and that you were all meeting up for a debrief, so I figured I would stop by.
Yeah, I guess that's about accurate.
Can you believe they found a booth that fits us all? It's amazing.
At which point he
really thinking ahead.
they put there's just 2 tables. They put a tablecloth over it. You can see the seam right there, Jameson. Oh, Effects' ears are in the way. Never mind. Anyway, so I heard yesterday was interesting, largely through the news.
Oh yes, taking a rocket to the face is amazing.
Yes, a rock in the face.
You said rocket.
I said
Okay,
rocket.
I heard rock, so sorry. Yes. So much
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
Rockets. were frightening, but the giant snake kind of put everything in perspective afterward.
I miss being able to take a rocket to the face.
I miss being able to control
Not
a
getting
beast.
hurt.
Cassie's so dirty. Take that rocket to the face.
I kind of miss being able to just stand in the window and eat.
Which point, like John just sitting there, like kind of like he's slouching in the chair, and he's got his right ankle up on his left knee. He's just like slowly rubbing his temple as he's leaning against the arm of his chair, like, oh dear.
I mean, it would completely allow me to just skip the whole waffle controversy.
Wait, there was controversy?
Besides, this is besides the point.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Right, so, anyway, yeah. So things started mostly the same. Bunch of people attacking the bank. There was no Darkfather this time.
Well, we didn't see Darkfather.
I suppose.
You really think he wouldn't have shown up if he was here?
To be fair, going by the mission brief, when Jupiter helped you guys at the museum, he spent the majority of that fiasco invisible.
He just seems like he's such a drama queen.
Accurate. Incredibly accurate.
Also, his power should be separate. Well, I suppose it could still hide him, possibly.
Lumen can make... Well, actually, can Lumen make her invisible at this point?
No.
Oh. Never mind. Lita doesn't say that. It was one of the important parts about her character in the past, so I thought I would assume that, but then...
Well, the main core of Lumen's thing was being super, super tough and the ability to intervene on attacks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, that's how it manifested, yeah.
Well, what we do know is that he didn't get to the object. So that's a thing, I guess. He wasn't there, just invisible.
Out of character question.
Mm-hmm.
Did we hear it all from the Duke post all of this?
Post? No.
Thank you. All that's what's all. Continues.
Okay. Well, this is John talking. Well, in regards to his invisibility, or trying to get a hold of whatever it was that you're saying that he was after, I don't remember anyone who would fit the Darkfather's description. That said, he, back home, died well before any of us had our great-grandparents conceived.
Yeah.
So, who knows what he looks like. Frida, yes, yours is debatable, but we'll get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, here's the thing. Effects could make Kirsten invisible. It's all just a matter of how he goes about, what is it you call it? Setting the stage?
FX nods.
Well, then there you go. Point is, there's multiple ways to hide yourself from the eyes of others, literally. Who knows what he has available? He could have his own version of Mage following him around. He could have a literal manifestation of the bad, which is where his powers came from originally. But ultimately, you guys don't believe that you're in it. So what is it that I heard about, like, a biohazard thing in the area on the news?
Oh, yeah, Orochimaru.
Oh, like the child of Orochimaru that you guys fought last time at the... That wasn't that a different mission?
9.
Yep.
Yeah.
It apparently
Yeah.
happened out of sync this time. I don't know.
Okay. So, was it the same one that you guys fought originally?
Pretty much the same, yeah.
As far
8
as
heads,
we can tell.
noxious breath attack. Frida did not, however, mind control and ride it like a hydra through the streets. That's a thing that didn't happen.
Hold on. Noxious breath attack.
Mhm.
The original that you fought didn't do that.
Well, the original didn't really get a chance to. Like I said. Lady Scarlet over there kind of gave it the laser roofie and then rode it like a hydra through the streets.
Yeah, I can't say I know exactly what it was completely capable of. That was over fairly quickly.
Fair.
The original timeline, where did this Orochimaru come from?
So, I'm sorry to interrupt.
By all means.
This had a different pattern as the one that you guys fought before.
What do you mean?
Like it was the same colors-ish, but like a different coloration of those colors, if that makes sense.
You know what? I don't know. I didn't actually see it. I was in the bank at the time.
Given that I know what your memory is like, Chloe, that's really unfortunate then.
That's a surprisingly calm observation considering what's happening with that.
Bindweed saw it. Unfortunately, she can't tell us anything.
Well, I was looking at the news feed last night, and there were some pictures.
Mage. At which point the candle like stops playing with a little bit of Frida's hair. Hold on a second.
No, keep going. Fine.
Okay. Alright. So anyway, so John turns to Mage, and when he says his name, it had apparently been like starting to play with some of Frida's hair, and then it kind of stops mid motion and like looks over to John at the corner of its eyes, and then drops her hair, thinking that it was in trouble for doing that. And then John just kind of slowly points over at Bindweed and says, "Do you think that you could do the psychic thing between Bindweed and effects?" At which point, Mage kind of like perks up and then flies straight over to Bindweed, and then like stops only a couple inches from its face, as if to be like, "Oh, wait a second." Then looks up at Chloe.
Wait, what's going on?
Mage has access to some of the magic that I knew before I became Archmage. Almost all of those spells are things of convenience or utilitarian or whatever. One of the ones that I learned when I was in my 3rd year of studying was the ability to try to connect the minds of 2 different animals. If you ever wanted to know why your cat's being pissy, you connect it to the brain of your parrot.
That seems like a poor choice. That seems like a good way to lose a finger.
It was an incredibly poor choice, but that's not the point. Effects, if you are willing, because you are still a low enough ascension or form or whatever for what you companion powers are, Mage can connect you and Bindweed so that you can know if Bindweed recognized it.
I'll do it.
At which point, then John and Mage turn to look at Chloe and Bindweed.
I'm fine with this. It's not gonna hurt Bindweed, is it?
No,
I think so.
and it is a temporary spell, and
It's fine with us.
at which point Mage squeaks in excitement and then flies into Bindweed's face, and both of them have their eyes start glowing green.
Bind your hands while you're connected to the thing.
Do what?
Mind where your hands go while you're connected to that thing.
Oh, Mage is the little candle companion power for John.
They're connected to Bindweed, right?
Do what?
He's connecting Bindweed to a human, right?
No,
No,
to
he's-
FX, my cat.
Never mind.
Yeah, the cat's tier 2. The cat can talk.
Ah. Bindweed
There you go,
does
Emily.
that.
Emily?
What?
I sent you a thing.
Oh, there it is. Um. Wait. This is going from Bindweed to effects, right? So
Yes.
effects is saying this?
Yep.
Or-
Bindweed is talking out of Effects' mouth.
Okay. So, right, well, this one was bigger. Original had a poisonous bite, not a breath attack, and this one was more primal. Whatever that means.
Primal's a good word. Primal. But still, what does that mean? Have we somehow changed the flow of history?
Older, more powerful.
I think the fact that this world doesn't have as much history maybe was already changed things. So, when you all went and dealt with that, the zombie parade, as you guys called it, the thing that came through was one of the brood of Orochimaru, which was it was an ancient lizard poison snake thing that the Dark Father had made during some of his experimentation a long time ago. Back in ancient Japan, it was killed by a samurai who I'm still trying to figure out if they were actually enhanced or metahuman or whatever you want to call it in some way, shape, or form.
Susano, yeah.
No.
Yes. No, Susanoo is the god. This was a different... Doesn't matter. Point is, the original Orochimaru died because of what happened in ancient Japan. The original Orochimaru was a creature that he made to try to invade Japan with, and then all of these other folk stories came from it, etc. If ancient Japan never happened, Orochimaru never died. But it didn't die until after it had already created a brood of its own that the Dark Father had kept.
So this is the original this time, maybe?
Probably, if nothing else, it's like this is going to sound very weird, but like maybe history's memory of it, or it is just the original, but it's hard to say either way.
The companion power version.
Potentially. It could be his companion power, in which case that's a problem. It could also be when you ran into Ephemero before it recreated the universe again, reality. How fixated on you all did it seem like it had been beforehand? Like, because you said you were discussing with it.
Fixated? I don't...
Maybe fixated wasn't the right word, but how much attention did it seem that you all had compared relative from you all to the rest of the world at the time? And obviously you were talking with it, so you're very...
Honestly, I'm not sure. I mean, it could easily have... It could have easily been sudden interest because we actually, broke into where it was hiding.
It did seem pretty fixated on us, and I don't know, it doesn't seem to have any form of power that would allow it to split its attention between 2 points. We were kind of all that was down there.
So this is... first of all, Mage, get out of there. At which point Mage kind of flies out of Bindweed's head, and it turns out that it flew out upside down, got a little confused, and then fixed itself. This is strictly a theory, nothing that I have anything concrete to base it off of, but what if, when the majority of this reality was recreated, Chloe, you were fixated on you and those around you in your life, and you drew them to you, consciously or not. If Ephemero was focused on you all, and it drew things also from your collective history together, it would explain why Magmadon happened. It would explain why Orochimaru potentially happened. And since the original Orochimaru was a creature made out of energy from the bad, it would make sense that Ephemero, a creature also from the bad, would have known about it.
Well, it's funny because certain amount of sense. You don't have any particular reigning theory at the moment anyway. Unless someone has one they've been keeping themselves.
Did you run into anything else that was from the bad? I don't believe you did. It's just all Norse realms and the Utah fiasco. Not Utah. Colorado.
Why would you even think Utah?
I have so many multi-dimensional maps bouncing around in my head, the map of the United States is kind of secondary.
I was going to say they're both just flat expanses of land, but maybe I'm wrong.
Jameson blinked several times.
Colorado that one time.
Utah's really mountainous, actually.
Is it? I don't know. I've never been to Utah.
It's very mountainous. That's why they held the Winter Olympics there at one point.
They?
Mm-hmm.
Denver.
I don't know.
What?
You're thinking of New Mexico.
Oh.
New Mexico is
Alright.
flat.
Annie, did you just say Denver?
Wasn't it Denver where the Winter Olympics were?
No, Salt
No.
Lake City.
Oh.
It's all
You people
good.
need to go past geography.
I'm not
Hey.
a sports person.
Not all
Denver
of
is
it.
in Colorado.
Not all of us are geologists, Jameson.
Hey.
That has,
In all
very little,
fairness,
that has very little to do with geography.
in all fairness, I don't pay attention to the Olympics, so where they happen kind of usually passes me by.
I mean, when you have the ability to bench a car, it does kind of take away some of the appeal, doesn't it?
I was talking out of character.
I wasn't. I'm trying to do a thing, Annie.
I'm sorry.
If that was in character, Jameson had a perfect reply, but no, I guess not.
I'll be quiet now.
Also, Cassie, you need to post that. I don't even know what's playing, but this is terrifying. And interesting, but terrifying. Moving on. So, I don't believe that you all ran into anything else that was from the bad, except for Orochimaru, Darkfather itself, and Ephemeral. Because there was the Colorado incident, your issues with the Duke, with Dragon Arms Manufacturing, and the rebellion in Bondura. So, does that sound about right?
Yeah, that does sound about right. There was, yeah. Colorado Arms. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So, unless something in there was of the bad and we just didn't know, yeah. That was pretty much our exposure.
So, given that, if this theory is accurate, given that Ephemeral only has a cursory knowledge from what it could have gleaned from the spirit of magic about what happened with you all, things might not end up as straightforward.
We're about to go off script soon, right?
Or already did.
I suppose that's true. We kind of already did.
That's
So-
if this theory is accurate.
So, like, trans-dimensional creatures playing Mad Libs with their history.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Oh, transdimensional creature that has comparatively near godlike power from what your companions currently do, because it seems to have, amidst re-rolling reality using the wormhole through Titan, used one of the Spirit of Magic's most potent spells to create its own pocket dimension and stay outside of the wormhole.
Does that mean that if we ever collapsed that pocket dimension, it'd be subject to the same worlds as we?
Now either lay down or get down. Why don't you lay down? Lay down?
Sir, you should not be telling your children to lay down in the restaurant.
Lay down on the desk? Lay down and be a little putz?
That's just me.
You probably shouldn't call your children putz either.
Well, to be fair, Possum is a putz.
No,
Silent judging.
Possum is a special boy who always looks like he's blown away by the world.
They
Like
named
fucking startled.
their child Possum.
Actually, that's what his name was when we adopted him.
I mean, I guess
You're allowed to change your name.
I know, but
I think Jimmy
okay.
missed the fact
I'm
that
trying to keep this shit in character. Damn it!
I think Jimmy just missed the fact that entire thing was in character. Kristen somehow has very, very close knowledge to this small family in an IHOP.
She also, adopted their kid that they're having laid out on the floor of the IHOP.
This is canon.
IHOP.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So so the question was if you guys collapsed or popped the little pocket dimension that So
would Ephemeral become subject to the same rules?
yeah, John's eyes kind of seem to glaze over, and it's kind of like it's that meme where the dude has the numbers floating in front of his face. You can just kind of see that that's kind of what's going on in his head, but we're getting into more like non-Euclidean bullshit and interdimensional additional bullshit as he's trying to consider this.
So a lot of the numbers are
If that's the case, then that would solve one problem we have.
Ephemera's relative power to yours.
Not just that. That means that the Spirit of Mana would become a companion power to Ephemero, thus severing their link.
At which point, the light bulb just went off in his fucking head, and you can see it in his eyes. He's like, no, it wouldn't. Companion powers choose their partner.
Oh, good. I did a good. Excuse me, my pancakes have just arrived.
Priorities. So, popping the dimension was one of the great fears we had about use of the red orb, right?
Wait. That's the mission you were at with the... Oh, jeez. Okay. I think I'm piecing together backwards what you guys were doing. The orb to Muspelheim that's what was originally in that bank before.
Yeah,
Yep, and it originally got stolen.
and is still there. Or
Well, not
should be
anymore.
moved by now.
Yes.
Okay. So, alright, if I'm understanding this right then, so what your concern was is that if he had an orb that allowed interplanar travel, that it would cause a stability problem for this universe, right?
Yeah.
It made
Something
sense.
like that,
I
yeah.
mean, if realities are all fed onto one another, what would happen if you activated a loop in that reality? There's
Or open a doorway into a sucking void or a million other possible terrible things.
Or even if this reality had the other realities, that door didn't need to be opened.
So speaking as the person who actually understands their form of interplanar and interdimensional travel, as he makes a pointed look towards Frida and just kind of gives her a knowing smile. Because he's not trying to be a shithead, but he's like, you do it. I know what I'm talking about, though, so just bear with me for a second. But anyway, so what he actually says is, depending on the nature of the portal and how it led to where it was going, it would either simply just never activate, or it could, as you said, pretty much open to a non-existent void, or you could inadvertently duplicate this reality and be staring at the exact copies of yourself. Because this gets to one of the tests that I did with Mage after we woke up. I had him try to hop dimensions. The spell that he was using would simply allow him to shift from one to the other. There was no actual physical travel. He simply would functionally teleport from one to the next. But there was no target point. They don't exist. This means that even this universe doesn't even follow the principle that every choice creates an alternate universe. There is only one choice here. It is whichever ones we make. That is enforced by the laws of reality. You do still have the freedom to choose. But if someone goes back in time from the present, they cannot change anything. They can't even actually go back because they weren't there. There is only one timeline, and it cannot be altered once it is set. There are no other alternate realities. There are no other planes like Muspelheim.
That is refreshingly simple, actually.
But it does prove one of the... Reality was able to reshape itself before because of its own inherent flexibility. This reality is completely rigid. Think of it like concrete. The mold has been poured, the concrete is starting to set and cure. Now, that was a poor analogy. Once it has set and cured, that brick is there. You can still change the shape of the wall. Better? Am I making any sense?
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. You all ended up with the second orb. The one it was to Niflheim, I believe.
Yeah.
And that was when you found out about Magni.
Yes, and everything else that comes with my heritage.
Well, the experimenter in me says that we should go get one of these orbs and see what happens if we open the door, but at the same time, it's an issue of, I don't know if we've waited too long to try and check that level of flexibility of the universe. Because here's the other problem, if Ephemero is imitating your history as a team, it stands that it's only a matter of time before he tries to open the door.
No one but us ever tried to open the doors, though.
Except, is that true? Because you had the key to Niflheim. You ended up in the dark world of Mirkheim.
The gatekeeper, I believe, would have told me if someone else came to the door.
But that's what I'm saying. Even in your own history, there was someone else that was able to open the door, and they did. You guys, if the report you told us before was correct, you never went to Niflheim.
Not that trip, no. But if this is all about the actions we took, no one else to our knowledge opened the door in our group.
Except for that gatekeeper.
I have not met anyone else who came from the other realms.
Out of character is a thing. Annie, you remember that dark elf that brought you guys to where Magni was in the first place? He had the cloak of feathers.
Yeah?
That guy is who he's talking about.
Yeah, and he would have been an elf from the other realms, right? I thought you said everyone, the other people in those realms weren't here, except for Frida because she was part human.
Except those watchers have the ability, because of the cloak of feathers from Hugin and Munin, have the ability to activate the gates to go back and forth, but they're the ones that have that time limit. Like, they can only use them often.
Yeah.
But, so just wanted to make sure we were on the same page for that part.
Yes. No, I knew who you were talking about, yeah. But
Okay.
in Frida's mind, with the description you're giving, they wouldn't be here because they would have been in, words, Niflheim.
Yeah.
Too many realms. Mirkheim. There we go.
The dark one.
Yes. Go grab I have a pin on Pinterest that has the picture for me when I need to reference it. I need to go there. So I get back in character.
Mhm.
I cannot say for sure that anyone else didn't, but the description that we're running this theory off of is that it's off of our actions, the people here in this group, that his theory is loosely based on. I saw the gatekeepers a couple times, and they were the ones who helped me understand how I could travel, but they were not members of our party, were not part of what we did. Svartalheim is where we went, I thought.
We got the Soul Beast pets.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, picture.
So you said before that the nature of the gateway determines what would happen if we opened it in this reality. How many kinds of gateway are there?
It depends on if... wormhole, teleportation, folding space. Wormhole and folding space in regards to magical terminology are two different things. Phasing... literal stepping sideways. There are a multitude of different methods. Frida, back home, could just literally just open a door.
Only to certain planes, though. I was not free to roam wherever I wanted.
True.
So is there any way to determine what method the orbs use?
The orbs were keys. They themselves were not the portal.
No, the portal was buried beneath a mountain. As far as how the portal itself worked, I have never witnessed it.
So even if we could get the orbs into the pocket dimension, it wouldn't matter because they themselves don't have the power.
No.
Unfortunate.
But there are multiple ways. If you're referring to trying to get rid of the pocket dimension that Ephemero is hiding its power in, there are multiple ways to do that. I was talking about the idea of simply trying to see what would happen if we opened that buried door.
Oh, yes.
Dang it. Out of character. I need Ashling to grow up so he can talk and be useful.
And I was sort of thinking about how nice it would be to make that test in a place where the stakes were a bit lower. But I suppose it's not possible.
Oh, wait. Actually, I had an idea, so Frida has an idea. Can Mage potentially see what Ashling may know? His entire purpose was to assist me with knowledge that I did not have.
He kind of seems to be mulling it over. Potentially. FX, how do you feel about being connected to a knowledge raven that's degenerated into a winged potato?
If it helps the group, I'll do it.
Meanwhile, I'm going to heal this bullet wound with calories.
So again, Mage flies into Ashling. Both of their eyes start glowing green for a second. At which point, Ashling is just kind of like, this is cool. So wait, we're talking about portal stuff?
Multitude of things. Portals, where the elves may be in this dimension, if you have any ideas there. The location of the portal, too. Anything else you're going to be useful at the moment?
Well, I can certainly say there's no elves. But, I mean, when you think about how the Norse planes are all set up, they're all interconnected, right? So it makes sense that because they're not different dimensions like the other stuff is, they're all connected, same thing.
They're
So
the world tree.
Yeah. So think about it. Like, follow this. I want you guys to imagine this cat, like, trying to gesture with its front paw. Like, just like, focus hand signal, and then realizing that it can't keep its mouth that way.
Can't they just use them to create an illusion?
Ashling probably can't think that far.
Kind of. It, like, because it's Ashling in Effex's head, and Effex is kind of in Ashling's head. Like, they're like 80% swapped, 20% merged. Know what I mean? That makes any sense?
Okay.
They're a Venn diagram.
Yes. Their brains were Venn diagrammed and then flipped around. Because convoluted spells convoluted. It's based off of a mind control. Moving.
Okay.
So Effects is just kind of like, alright, so depending on what screwed everything up in the first place and like how that whole thing went about, like, remember when you were jumping from one realm to the other and all of the different, realms around the tree all had the wormhole in it?
Yes, very disconcerting.
Yeah, okay. So think about this then. All of them became one. So while there's not elves here, if what friggin' Four Eyes over there is saying is true, then all of these world, like all of the world, the realms around the world tree became one realm, and then all the universes went and collapsed. So the elves aren't here, but the people are. Plus, if the king of the fucking Svartalfar is still alive, like people theorize, the moment that he realized his realm was going up in fucking light, he'd have gotten pissed as all hell, and he would have freaking collapsed the realms all into the same thing. Because
Magni?
No, not Magni, the king of the Svartalfar.
Oh.
The king of the Dark Elves. Like, Magni's great. You hang out with Magni's just fine, right? But Magni's a god. Okay? No, the king of the Svartalfar, which, by the way, he deleted his name from history so that he is only known as the king of the Dark Elves, is one proud narcissistic shit. Right? He would be like, oh my. At which point now the cat's like back on its haunches and it's got its paws like on its side as if he's trying to hold his head. He's like, my people will not go into the friggin' light because we're too good for that. Like, he would have turned it. He was an incredibly powerful wizard. Like, he'd definitely give Baldur a run for his money. Like, pretty good. From what I understand of the stories and the legends, if it wasn't for the fact that Odin was like the literal god of freaking knowledge and kind of knows what everybody's going to do before they do it, the king of the Svartalfar could have out-magicked Odin. So I could certainly see him being enough of a prick to, after realizing that Odin could sacrifice an eye for frickin' foresight, that he probably did that after Odin was gone so he could steal his gimmick. He might have known what was going on and, like, did the one thing he could to save his people. Now, hold on. And he like, pokes her leg with the big metal paw thingies. He's like, I'm not saying this what happened. I'm just saying, this dude was crazy. And crazy powerful.
So, do you have any insights, though, where we might find the portal?
I would assume it's under the same mountain.
You don't have any fancy tricks to help with that?
I don't have feathers anymore.
You may have a pancake.
At which point, FX then sucks a pancake off of the nearest plate and just swallows it whole.
Anything else useful while you have a voice?
I miss pecking at the eyes of things.
You would.
Also, if we make it home, can I have my tablet back?
No.
But it's so much more convenient than the stone ones that they used to use so long, and definitely more than the paper. No, those were called books. But I mean,
We'll talk about it.
I
We can
miss.
negotiate. We'll talk about it when either we get there or you can speak on your own. I think we're good now. Thank you much.
At which point, Mage just kind of flies out of Ashling again, and you can tell that the little bird thingy is a little bit like, it's like, oh cool, I'm back in my own self. Oh man, I can't taste pancake anymore.
Now I can't talk either.
Yep.
Haha.
Sad bird is sad.
Frida gives him another pancake.
Tries to inhale it all at once, realizes his mouth is significantly smaller now, starts choking a little bit, fixes itself, and then off he goes. So, as an aside, just for the whole keeping the scene set and everything, how was Effects dealing with having shared a mind with a sentient cactus and an ADHD raven?
I'm sure it's not nearly as bad as the experimentation was.
I mean, fair.
Momo is gonna start hopping up and down on Harrison's head, pointing at me and pointing at Effects, pointing at her herself. Do it all again.
It's my turn. It's my turn.
Jameson shares pancakes with Digger. Only good can come of this.
Could say he's digging in.
Wah, wah, wah.
Chicken time?
It's not yet
That
digging time.
I forgot to load up Sirenscape. Darn it.
Okay, get ready for that.
There we go. There we go. I'm glad that we've said that fast.
I do not like the word of shame.
Anyway. So, okay, so John's kind of sitting there and he's mulling things over. Alright. So, there's a few things that we need to consider, first of all. There's the potential that we could try to open the portal and see what is. If it starts to become a problem, we can try to stop it partway through. From as I understand it, that's what you all did with the portal in the first place. Started to realize where it was leading and pulled out.
Slash, they were stopped by the gatekeeper as well.
But still, it proves that the original Heat 8 had that form of function. So, that's one possibility. The other is, the news was incredibly lax on what happened with what I'm assuming was the original Orochimaru. Magmadon sank into the ground. What happened to Orochimaru?
We threw him to the moon. No, he got banished. Wait, no, Digger doesn't know these things. Sorry.
Okay, so we'll walk that one back and on that. So what happened to Orochimaru?
FX goes, I created a replica, a mirage of Magmadon, and he was scared back through his portal.
So it wasn't destroyed.
No.
And there was another instance in your collective history where it actually did come back again. So what I am curious of and slightly concerned about is Orochimaru has every possibility of coming back then.
Yeah.
So, because the mountain where the portal was in the first place was not an insignificant distance away. if it comes back, you all will not be around to intervene. Now, we could hope that things would progress logically. Other people would potentially step up, or at the very least, a concerted police force of some kind would intervene. But
Well, we have access to another force of companioned individuals that we could make aware if we did want to take a trip.
A road trip?
Which individuals?
You have
It's
a
not
ET
something we can really
I do
burden
not.
others with.
I don't believe the Duke would think of it as a burden.
True, there is that.
she's certainly not wrong. So we could let the Duke know that he needs to keep an eye out for a little while you're all gone, and then hopefully him and his knights are able to intervene if Orochimaru comes back.
I see no reason that we do not try everything we can to initiate action on our own, and as of this point, I don't know of a better opportunity than potentially opening the portal.
So,
Go ahead.
so how much do you suppose the King of the Dark Elves would like to have his realm back?
I've never met him, but I would assume quite a bit.
Though we do not necessarily have the key to his realm. If we're lucky, we're not so lucky, depending.
Mm,
As it is, we would have to speak with the Duke to get more immediate access to a key.
Unless you took the one from the museum and left the one behind in the Duke's care.
Not to throw a wrench in this so much, but I mean, I don't think the museum's just gonna give it to us, and I'm not really very comfortable with the idea of just going in and taking it.
Jameson can ask for it.
Jameson was holding up his finger like he was about to deliberately say that.
Okay, actually, I guess that might actually work. Never mind. Objection withdrawn. You are an actual geologist. And it is a rock of sorts.
And in this world, he's also known as an archaeologist as well, and it is a piece of cultural significance.
Well, there we go then.
Yeah, that is a fair. I mean, it was definitely a fair concern up until you two remembered that. So thank you. Across the board. Out of character. God damn it! I was gonna have you guys have to steal the fucking thing.
I'll get set to work on making a proposal. I mean, we can outline the whole gate thing underneath the mountain
No,
thing.
let's not maybe be quite so honest.
tell me you need to defeat the Nazis.
All right. I'll make it work.
Given his record, they might actually believe that too. In this world, it's not inaccurate.
I know that someone at some point will ask why I want it. That's the thing. That's how academia works.
That does not mean you have to give them a real reason. Make up some other, dare I say, BS excuse? Some other study of cultural or geographic significance to trying to find out the mysteries of its origins? You have a comparative contrasting essay that you're going to write against a similar object that requires direct physical comparison?
How is she better at this than you, Jameson?
John's just sitting there with his hand over his mouth, like chin along his jawline, fingers kind of curled up over his mouth. He's just looking between the two of them, like, and you can tell in his head, behind those eyes, he's like, am I witnessing a marital spat?
Jameson seems unconcerned by these remarks.
Archaeology is a source of sizable distress in marriages.
But we're not married.
Yet.
What?
And that's where we found out Chloe Cannon ships it. We've got the ground pounder and the other ground pounder.
I'm glad that she thinks so highly of us.
I guess I said.
I'm just kidding, you guys. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no,
Anyway.
no. Digger will remember this.
Does the text show up in the left corner of her screen?
And the small foxball meows at you.
I don't know why that makes difference, but all right. If he wants to remember that, he's perfectly welcome to.
Oh, I think he will. Now,
Okay.
Point is, we certainly have everything set up where we could actually go and take a look at this.
yes. Again, it might take some time, but yes.
And you're relatively certain that if there is a bad reaction to this portal opening, we'll have time to shut it again, right?
Sure.
My hand tried to freeze itself off almost immediately. And I definitely was able to pull out the orb before it actually opened the door. Just some mist came out.
But why do we keep losing and gaining people? What the hell?
Is down AFKing himself. And I've moved guys. Us.
Typical comic book stuff. They're dying and coming back. So, does anyone else have anything they'd like to take care of before we fly out to the portal?
Pass the syrup.
Maple, peach, blueberry, blackberry.
All of them.
You really have to ask. Ugh.
At which point John kind of points between Lita and Jameson. Are you two gonna wait till you're at least patched up before this trip, or just go as you are?
How bad did you say Lita was?
Hmm?
I said, how bad did you say Lita was?
Not really. She only had like 1 point of lethal, which won't take her really a long time to get over per se.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they both only got 1 point of lethal, so I guess technically it would be actually gone by now, as far as game rules go.
So basically, Jameson has just been overreacting the whole time.
Yeah.
You didn't get that this was an act? I thought that was obvious. Did you fail your sense motive check or something?
I didn't even make one.
He said this totally in character, by the way. He's just joking at this point.
Well, since the
I think it's been
admission that
established
the
that-
damage couldn't or would be gone by now was made out of character by an unknown voice from the sky, my comment could not possibly have been in character.
Well, that just sucks, because that would have been funny.
I was gonna say, hasn't it been established that most of them play D&D at this point?
If they didn't, let's be honest. If nothing else, I'm pretty sure that he bribed her into an evening of trying to make characters at some point or another.
Oh no, I've just said Chloe does. She's a nerd.
Oh.
Digger
Then
does
there-
not play the D&D.
I was supposed to say, I doubt Kirsten does either.
Actually, she probably didn't in her original timeline, considering,
Pageants.
pageants and villainy and all that. But in this one, where she was like, "No, Mom, fuck off. I'm gonna do my own thing," and she's like, "This is awesome. D&D rules."
I need a scene 20 years from now of Digger sitting in a coffee shop reading Pageants and Villainy, a Chloe Williams autobiography.
Williams.
Willows. I can see him doing it too. Just a big, thick purple novel.
Superhero playing D&D is just a weird thought. I mean, you're playing a character that is probably a lot weaker than you are.
That's why Chloe plays a mage now. I don't know.
Okay, everyone, get out your character sheets and D20s. We're going to be playing offices and bosses.
The adult edition or the kitty edition?
Oh my.
The adult edition.
Yeah.
Oh, Harrison, I see you're here tonight. Here, I got a character ready for you. Jim from accounting.
Wasn't there a comic somewhere with a bunch of D&D races sitting around playing?
I like to imagine this whole thing's in character, and John's just sitting there like, "Oh my god."
They were playing a role playing game, and like one of them was like well, like the angry white lady at the the counter, you know, with the hair.
This is actually all coming from Hello from the Magic Tavern. It's their favorite Friday night game.
Anyway, shall we get back to planning our less than legit endeavors?
Oh, right. For survival.
Right, the rest of you have to figure out how your car pulling down about 200 miles south.
Hey, Reed, I'll give you extra credit in one of your classes if you write this proposal for me.
I'm not in classes, thank you very much.
That was Pierce. And given that I've read some of her papers, she would actually do really well at it, but you're going to have to get a hold of her first.
Slash probably pay her since student.
Where did she disappear to in the first place?
Student?
No, Pierce.
Student?
Yeah, she is right now largely trying to keep what semblance of a personal life that she did have in this universe before it starts becoming a significant problem, because in this one she's still just young enough where, yeah, she is legally kind of held to what her parents ask of her.
Well,
in other words, if she goes with you on this field trip and her parents decided that she was not going to go on a 200-mile road trip with some friend of varying ages that would not be appropriate for her to really be hanging around, they will pull you over and arrest a lot of you.
Well, that just sounds wonderful. So I'm going to be renting a Range Rover. It should fit all of us.
And the companions?
And the companions. There's plenty of trunk space. We can put down the back seat.
That's how you get 8 seats, is with the back seats.
Yeah, there's only 5 of us. 6 of us. John, are you coming?
Probably.
Yeah, it would be a good idea if he came.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be plenty. There's a lot of seats. Not a lot of space in the back. We might have to strap Ashling to the hood.
Ashling can fly his own feathered butt.
I'm sure those tiny little wings can go 200 miles.
Ashling's looking between Frida and Jameson like neither one of these are good options for him.
Which parent do I choose?
How far away was this again?
I'm really just wondering
200
if,
miles?
200 miles.
out of character, I was really just wondering if Mari would have some other method of getting there.
If Mari says I'm going to borrow you a Quinjet, I'm going to say no.
Hey, she could always get the limo SUV.
Party bus.
We are not taking a party bus up a mountain.
Didn't we have a party bus at one point?
We called it the party
Just had a
bus.
jet.
Yeah, it was a jet that we called the party bus, but it really wasn't a party bus. It was a drop ship.
It was great.
And also, Josh, it's not on the mountain. It's under it.
Under them.
Oh, that's correct. And Digger will be digging a fine tunnel. It'll probably take him a little bit longer than before, considering he's so small.
It's okay, we still have to go through the tunnel, and that will take a while as well.
So wait, if I'm understanding the plan right, you guys are going to dig the tunnel and then just drive the car through the tunnel?
As it's
That
being
would be
dug.
awesome. That would be awesome.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page. Because remember last time it was everybody just hugged Digger and then off you all went.
Can Digger do
Yeah,
that this
Digger
time?
is smaller now.
You're probably going to lose the deposit on the rental.
Okay.
It's okay. I have.
Buy it.
Unlike the last two iterations of the universe, in this one I had a salary.
So this time you're not a hobo?
That was very insensitive.
Right?
Well, like John said,
Yeah, but Lita responded in character, right?
I mean, to be
let's see.
fair,
Let's see. The first iteration, I was in the real world, I'm a miner, and in the other world, yes, I was a hobo. It was a good life, thank you.
in both those lives, I kind of mostly lived with trees.
You have an odd fixation with arboreal love.
well, they accepted her. One of them.
I was one of them.
But no, there are worse things to live as than a hobo when you don't have to eat or drink or breathe. Or worry about exposure or cold or heat. Money is only really required when you have those need things.
You know, much of what you just described is very similar to reaching enlightenment. Station of outer need, an ability to survive anywhere.
Have you considered
Starting a cult?
No, I was trying to think of a better way to say it.
Very stern eyes at Digger right now.
I was going to say ministering to the disadvantaged and homeless, and also prostitutes, but you know.
I was thinking you were inferring, starting an army cult.
We're not going to judge my life choices in the previous universe that no longer exists. Thank you.
I'm
no
gonna
longer
say,
exists.
why not both? Like, that was basically what happened. Both of those things at the same time. Actually, considering my history in that timeline, my contribution to that whole thing was extremely peaceful.
I mean, yeah, you only killed one pimp.
Yeah, I killed a whole bunch of them. Well, I made the forest kill a whole bunch of them.
Mari's just not gonna say anything about peaceful and whatnot.
But I just built a couple of hippie communes and.
Out of character, notice how she's glossing over the fact that the character background of her when she was a demigoddess involved her having, committed genocide against the mortal races, or race in this case, and then realizing, wait, I need to prepare.
Specifically referring to when they were building a church around themselves, not her entire life.
Because my mom said they were bad and smelled icky and called me names. I needed to die.
I mean, to be fair, she was just kind of implanted with some of those memories.
Hence why I'm saying we're not going to be judging our lives based off previous iterations' decisions.
Those memories were implanted, huh? Planted.
Thank you.
I have that button. I'm pushing the fucking button.
You liked it and you know it.
I mean, if we're gonna go that far, then we'd have to bring up the fact that the Digger really had a thing for his sisters.
But what's that voiced?
Jameson shrugs. If I recall correctly, I was also the son of an Egyptian god. Have you looked into that culture?
How about we stick to the pertinent questions at hand?
Who's paying the bill?
Jameson raises his hand. Oh, come on, guys. We can't live off the trust fund baby forever.
No one volunteered.
Who's a trust fund baby?
You.
You remember when she's running her own part of the company?
I'm not even part of Dad's company.
Wait, how old is Mari?
30.
Right now?
In this universe?
You're the same age as Jameson and you give him such crap for being old? What the hell? Cassie, you're
Well,
bad.
more like 28, but around 30 was what I was thinking. And she doesn't tend to give him crap for being old.
Cassie, you're
I think
banned.
some of the others do.
I'm making a note of this for when I'm sitting in the GM's chair again. It's happening right now. Anyway. Right, you own a company and stuff. Well, we still need to stop living off you. I'll fit the bill for this one.
That all being said,
You.
I know we have this strip and all to do, but I have a performance next weekend, opening night.
It's only 200 miles. That can be driven in like 4 or 5 hours, including restroom breaks. We have every potential of being back same day.
Or getting sucked into an alternate dimension, but okay, then I guess I don't have to worry about my director and my choreographer.
As far as we know, there's no real time limit on like the way it began.
This is true.
So we should definitely think of something else to do in the meantime.
At this point, Valkyrie hops up on the table and starts shadow boxing.
Momo again bursts into applause.
How do I make it?
Man, that Peach is easily impressed.
Do I have to have that discovered?
He's adding out.
High enough level.
Actually, I think Valkyrie might have an idea there.
Something?
You all were not able to actually beat Orochimaru. You simply fought it back. When a lot of the challenges that you all, as a team, Harrison, Kirsten, I understand you two being exceptions to this, but the team that all of this seems to be built around, these were two of the earliest challenges you all ran into in regards to pure combat capability. And with exception to FX, and he's kind of looking across at all of the companions, you all are going to need to get a lot stronger. Maybe some time being spent practice training something would help.
That'd probably be wise.
Momo will give a thumbs up and start doing push-ups with his head.
It just keeps rocking forward and backwards as it keeps pushing with its arms.
Pretty much. Harrison's head is kind of bobbing up and down, of course.
So we're not going to be going immediately to this mountain.
No, not immediately.
Jameson has to get a hold of the key first, at the very least.
Okay, well, then I will. Kirsten stands up and says, I'm going to let you guys plan. I need to get to work. I can't call out anymore.
Fair enough. We'll
Understandable.
let you know what happened, or what we know when we know.
And Jameson, thank you for lunch, or for breakfast.
Certainly.
And Kirsten will leave.
John offers a Kirsten a high five on her way past.
She'll give it. Oh, she'll give it.
Good kid.
So what sort of training would work on a companion?
Well, rather straightforward. Hey, Digger.
Yes.
No,
Wait,
not Jameson.
Do you
Hey,
mean
Digger.
Ah,
As he looks down at the fox. You want to go wrestle with Valkyrie?
He brandishes his little stick crutch.
Valkyrie walks over and kicks it out from under him.
He flops to all fours as intended.
Wow.
Harrison will put a white napkin on a fork and sort of hold it up.
That was harsh.
Valkyrie, without being in Frida's psyche, is a little like bitch.
So, Valkyrie, do you feel stronger now?
She's like, no, big hand, no, fight.
Digger walks over, pokes her on the forehead, and sinks her into the floor.
Through the table.
Oh, Digger's been on the floor the whole time.
Okay, then, yeah, okay. She grabs onto him and then pulls herself up.
I don't think that's how it works.
She has strength.
Valkyrie does still have super strength. Only 2 ranks of it, sure, but that's 10 extra points of strength on top of her 18. So she's rocking a 28. Now the floor is damaged.
We should probably do this outside.
Digger.
You two should probably do this outside.
He did it.
To be fair, she's the one that pulled herself up.
What else was she supposed to do?
Wait for the end of the prank and then wait for Digger to pull her out of the ground.
She is not that patient.
Noticing this.
Jameson looks across the table at Frida. Does that not mean that you're not that patient?
No, she's actually had quite some different personality traits from myself.
Are you sure about that? It is
Whatever.
a reflection of you.
Jameson, don't push it.
I will say this, Jameson. Valkyrie has been hopping bodies through my female ancestors for quite some time. She probably was the one who gave me these issues.
Well, with that bit of awkwardness out of the way, I'm going to go take Mage back to where I have a bunch of my notes. I will meet back up with you all later. Have fun with your training experiments and such. Let me know when you all have the key. And again, Jameson, thank you for breakfast. And he finishes off his coffee that he got somewhere in there.
So what do we do now? Out of character, not in character.
Well, out of character, what I'm considering doing is we just wrap up this scene, and then we do our outro, and then I have a proposition for you guys.
Guys.
Dirty.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna proposition all of you right here now. Anyway,
That's probably best considering how many connection issues we've been having.
Yep. All right. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Drifting on a wave of devastation, hooked into the frenzied sea. My mind is open in this shed, so violent and fast, falling to feet, don't let me lose myself in the past. I wanna feel that power surge, two minds that were made too much. Don't make me Mr. Rush, take it to the club. I wanna hear that roaring sound, when I walk I will shake the ground. Don't make me Mr. Rush, take me to the crush. Take me to the crush. Frame me in the shell of my colossus, I can reach my certainty. So long I waited for a chance to prove I was right. Don't let me down now when my fists are clenched for the fight. I wanna feel that power surge, two minds that will make too much. Don't make me Mr. Rush, take me to the club. I wanna hear that roar